Welcome to GCCars, my name is Eric and this is the newly refreshed 2023 Kia Soul. Taking a break from 600 horsepower cars and $150,000 luxury barges, this is the new top spec, budget friendly, just over $30,000 Kia Soul. And GT line limited, so top spec like I said, so you get all the bells and whistles that you can get within a budget car. And it is surprisingly good, You don't need to spend 60 grand on stuff, really. But we get to why that is. Of course, as always, we're going to take a look at the exterior first, and we're going to take a look at the interior, and then we're going to drive it. But let's start off with the exterior. And I think it is probably a little polarizing in terms of how it looks. The Soul always had a bit of a kind of like a quirky aesthetic that it always stuck to. But I think they did a good job. It's still very much in line. I love the new daytime running lights we have. I think they look really good. Surf blue obviously is a beautiful color. Like, you cannot go wrong with this very, very pretty blue. And well, it's boxy. It's the Soul. That's how we know it. I kind of have still the wraparound taillights, but what is admittedly a very interesting. If you look at those exhausts. They're definitely funky. I don't know if I like them or I dislike them. But you just got to tell me, what do you think? Oh, and of course we have proper winter tires on here because this is front wheel drive only, but it doesn't matter. Even if you're all wheel drive, get yourself proper winter tires in these conditions because all wheel drive only helps you accelerate. It doesn't help you stop or turn. They're winners. Anyhow, so looks aren't a problem, but for $30,000, there must be some trade-offs we make in the interior, right? So how about we take a look and see what we all have to kind of say goodbye to in order to meet this price point. Let's take a look. And there are surprisingly few trade-offs that you have to make because Kia actually did a pretty good job of making this quite a usable and nice interior. Of course, well, it's still a $30,000 interior, meaning you can't expect the materials to be as nice in a Mazda as in a Mazda CX-5 or in a Kia Telluride or anything like that. But all the touch points are nice and plush. And what really stands out here is just the amount of features that Kia packed into the Soul. First of all, our seats, while I wish they would have a little bit more lower back support, are heated and ventilated. We have a heated steering wheel. Our HVAC is physical, dials and all that, so you don't have to have anything buried in the infotainment. We have a big, well-functioning wireless charger. Some of them don't always work very well. This one works really well. And then we have the Hyundai Kia Genesis infotainment system that we know. I absolutely love it. It has a million features. It has just everything, like really. It's extremely quick. The only thing that's missing is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in terms of wireless. It's wired, but when you plug it in, it works extremely well. We even have ambient lighting in here on these trims level, on the trim details and around here. A digital gauge cluster which works really, really well. No, honestly, for what you're paying, this is a really nice and an extremely functional interior, and I quite like it. Looking back at the second row seats, first of all, heated seats for both of the outer seats at 30 grand is amazing. And then we have a decent amount of space despite this being a subcompact SUV. Of course, if you have like 7-foot tall passengers, it might be a little uncomfortable, but we have like a cutout in the roof up top just to give people a little bit more space. The legroom is decent, and honestly, it's not a bad place to be back there. And going even further back in terms of the trunk, well, we have 24.2 cubic feet of space. It's just as is, which is all right. You will notice though the length, well, the width will maybe be an issue sometimes because just, well, it's a subcompact. They're not very wide, so if you have like longer objects, that might be a bit tricky. But if you put down the second row seats, you get 64.1 cubic feet. And what's really cool, if you look at the kind of like the privacy cover and the floor of the trunk, you can fold them, you can take them out very easily. So it's not just the usual panels they put in. They actually thought about it on how to make it just that tad bit more usable. No, this is honestly really nice. This is really nice for a $30,000 car. This is extremely usable, very well thought out. And let's see how it drives. How about that? Okay, now in the Kia Soul, let's see how quick she goes. Brake torque, sport mode, traction control off. Okay. have ice patch there, another ice patch. But there we go now. Hammering out those fake shifts. And there we go. Okay, I think we can slow it back down. That's enough work for that 2-liter for today. Turn on traction control, put it back into a normal heated seats, heated steering wheel on for maximum comfort. Well, so of course it's not going to be super quick. We have a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline 4 producing 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque, which certainly is not quick, but really I never felt it inadequate at any point during my week with this Soul. It gave me all the power I always needed, and that power is sent through a CVT to the front wheels. I already told you we got fake shifts in there, and as you notice, it kind of pretended like it's shifting, goes up and the RPM goes back down and back up, and it doesn't need to do that. It's a CVT, but it wants to feel a little bit more natural, and this one definitely tries a little more than, for example, Honda CVTs to emulate a normal torque converter automatic. I think this drives very nicely for a budget car, and really there's not much more to say on the drivetrain front. But more of the general driving experience. Well, obviously I'm not going to tell you this drives just as nice as a Mercedes and is as quiet as a Cadillac or anything like that. It's a budget car. You have to expect certain trade-offs, and they are definitely here. This is not a perfect car by any means, but after having driven like quite a few $100,000, $100,000, $150,000, even $180,000 cars this year, it is quite refreshing to see like how much you can actually get in a car for just over $30,000. Because even those $180,000 cars, and those cars are far from perfect, but it's just much more easy to swallow certain imperfections that they actually share with this Kia Soul sometimes, which is funny. And in a car that's priced like this. So the ride quality actually is pretty good. The ride quality is actually pretty good. It's fairly comfortable. It's still a budget car ride though, so don't expect this to be amazingly isolated, but it's never uncomfortable at any point. Noise levels are on the higher side, especially on the highway. The wind noise, the road noise, especially with the winter tires we have on right now, is noticeable. But I've done a short little day trip with 3 of my buddies, and at no point was it like difficult to understand each other, even going the flow of traffic on the highway. So really it's not an issue. You expect that, right? What's really nice about this Kia Soul, once again, just like in the interior, is the tech, because at 30 grand we still get the full suite of Hyundai Kia's driving assist. That means we have the adaptive cruise control, we have the emergency braking, we have the blind spot monitoring, and we have the active lane centering, which is just, this is semi-autonomous driving capable for this price, which is just amazing. It's one of the best semi-autonomous systems out on the market. It works in most situations. I could probably plop it on here. Yep, it works here. It'll center me in the lane. Like, 30 grand for this. It's just really good. It's just really good. The only really thing you're lacking from the usual Kia tech suite is the cameras. You don't only have a rear view camera. You don't have any cameras in your mirrors, which give you like blind spot monitoring or anything like that. But you expect a trade-off at some point, and really, this will be a completely adequate car for 30K. It'll be comfy, it'll be warm, it won't be too noisy, it'll have the power you really need. Will it be fun to drive? No, it won't. But it'll get you safely from A to B with a warranty and all the tech you really want. With that being said, I think we send it off to the final thoughts to look at the price, the competition, and see if this Kia Soul should be the bargain choice of people. I don't know, something like that. Send it over there. Okay, final thoughts on the 2023 Kia Soul. And as you could tell, I really, really liked it. Of course, it's not going to be as quick as a car that's maybe 50K. It's not going to be as nice as a car that's 50K, but for the price, for just $30,000, and trust me, I know 30K is still quite a bit. That's exactly what my student loans are. I'm very well aware of that. But for that price, you can still get a car that pretty much checks all the boxes, and it just doesn't feel like a punishment to drive this car. Because don't be fooled, like the Kia Soul is still at the core kind of an econobox, but it is one that has, you know, it has a bit of style, it has a bit of character, and I think for that you really just gotta kind of love the Soul. If you like it or not, you just gotta appreciate what Kia has done here. Now, for $31,645, we've already established, even as a top spec, this is really, really good value. And unfortunately, there's not too many cars I have driven yet. We're going to drive some more soon, but probably the most comparable right now would be the Honda Civic, which was a little bit more and just quite different of a car. This Soul just has a bit more character. The Soul has a bit more tech, definitely. While the sedan version of the Civic that we tested has a few other benefits. So I wouldn't really compare them head to head. But if you're looking for a small SUV and you're not discouraged by the bit more feminine image that the Soul carries without a question, then by all means, it's an amazing vehicle. I totally have a different look now at the Soul that I had beforehand, now that I know how fantastic it actually is. So yeah, by all means, if you're looking for a budget-friendly subcompact, Kia Soul might be the one to get. And with that, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, because we upload reviews and POV test drives every single week. And other than that, well, it is the end of December for you, so I really hope you have a great end of the year and a great start into 2023. And I can't wait to show you more cars and have more fun together next year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.